do an honorable job in the part that you play. So it made an impression on me, and I continued to do children's theater there until when I was 17, I was cast for the first time in an adult production of a play called Awake and Sing. This was a play about a Jewish family in the Bronx, very much like my own Jewish family in Boston. There were 3 generations living in an apartment together, the grandparents, parents, and kids. And in this play, I'm playing the 17-year-old juvenile. I was 17 myself, so I really very strongly identified with the character. And this kid in the play was having the same concerns that I was having. How do you find out who you're supposed to be in the world? How do you find the right job for yourself? How do you go to the right school? How do you find the right girl for yourself? How do you build a life? And this kid was going through these issues, and so was I. And I thought, if I could do this kind of work for the rest of my life, helping people to understand their lives, illuminating an audience's, illuminating lives for people in the audience, I would consider it very important work, and I would consider myself blessed to be able to do that. So I decided to be an actor. And I went home and I said that to my folks, I'm going to be an actor. Well, it didn't go down so great. You know? My parents were immigrants from Russia. My father was a barber. Decent guy, thin and on his feet and cut hair for maybe 65 or 70 years of his life. And worked hard, very unsophisticated. I said, Dad, I'm going to be an actor. He said, you'll be hanging around with gypsies and vagabonds. I thought, okay. That's the way it has to be. You know? And then he gave me the only advice my dad ever gave me. He was very serious. He said, learn to play the accordion. You can always make a living with an accordion. I didn't take his advice from this show. The last movie that I saw before I left Los Angeles to move to California, the last movie I saw was Shakespeare's Henry V, directed by and starring Laurence Olivier, considered the greatest actor of our generation. Wonderful movie, wonderful movie. And there comes a moment in the movie where Henry is with his troops. They're about to go into battle tomorrow morning. It's the nighttime. Tomorrow morning they're going to fight the French. And they're vastly outnumbered. The French have a lot more soldiers than the English army does. Henry's concerned about the emotional condition of his troops, so he goes out in disguise, kind of hooded, like Spock did in Star Trek 3. And he goes out amongst the troops to listen to what they're talking about. And he hears somebody say, I wish we had more men. And he says, what's he that wishes so? My cousin, Westmoreland? Nay, cuz, he says, wish not one man more. If we are marked to die, we are now to do our country loss. But if to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honor. And I got a chill when I heard that. I thought, wow, there's that word again. Then he goes on to say, by Jove, I am not covetous for gold, nor care I who doth feed upon my cost. It yearns me not if men my garments wear, such outward things dwell not in my desire. But if it be a sin to covet honor, I am the most offending soul alive. I took that very seriously. I thought honor is going to be an important thing in my life. I've got to pay attention to that. It means something to me. There's a reason it keeps coming at me like this, and I took that in and held it. So in search of honor, I got on a train, I went to California to that great citadel of honor known as Hollywood. Got off the train, I moved into a rooming house, got myself some 8x10 glossy photographs, went up and down Sunset Strip where all the agencies were, knocking on doors trying to get an agent. And before too very long, a matter of months, I found myself on a soundstage acting in a movie. And I thought, wow, here I am. There's a camera, the sound department, costume, makeup, sets, crew. I thought, wow, I'm in a movie. It's great. I thought this is going to rocket me to stardom. And to this day, I can't quite figure out why it didn't quite work out that way. It was called a wonderful project called Zombies of the Stratosphere. landed in a spaceship that staggered across the screen and left a trail of smoke. And we stole a pickup truck and a couple of Colt 45 revolvers and announced we're going to take over Earth. That's me. And that job was followed by another great hit, Attack of the Brain Eaters. That was my second job. So my career looked like it was quickly swirling around the drain hole and going down the drain. I went to work at various jobs. I sold life insurance, I sold vacuum cleaners, I worked in an ice cream parlor, I serviced fish tanks in people's homes and doctors' offices. Here comes the fish doctor, they used to say. I heard that too many times. Then I found a 2-year job in the United States Army. Woo! There I was standing in front of a desk, a corporal sitting behind the desk at a typewriter, if you remember typewriters. Mm-hmm. And he said to me, "What do you do in civilian life?" I said, "I'm an actor." And he said, "Oh, tell me what I might have seen you in." Zombies of the Stratosphere. Click, 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 click. Infantry. Okay. I came out of the Army 2 years later. By that time I was married, I had a child, I had another one on the way, and I had to go to work immediately to produce some income before I could get my acting career going again. And one night, I was driving a taxi in West Los Angeles, took a job in cab driving, and I got a call to go pick up Mr. Kennedy at the Bel Air Hotel. And being from Massachusetts, the Kennedy name meant something to me. It was 1956. And the man that came out to get into my cab was Jack Kennedy, John F. Kennedy.
Wow.
And he was not known nationally. Later that year, he made an important speech at the Democratic Convention. He got some national attention. But when he stepped into my cab, hardly anybody knew him in California. And I said, "How are things in Massachusetts, Senator?" And he was interested. "Oh, that's great, somebody recognized him. Are you from Massachusetts?" "Yes." "Where?" "Boston." "Where in Boston?" I said, the West End." He knew the area very well. He had an office just about 2 or 3 blocks from where I lived. He was on Beacon Hill. And he said, "What are you doing out here?" And here I am driving a taxi. I said, "I'm an actor." He said, "A lot of competition in your business." I said, "Yes." He said, "Just like mine. Keep in mind," he said, "there's always room for one more good one." And I took that in and held on to it. It meant a lot to me to keep that in mind.